All right, now the tire's done letting all the air out. We're gonna get this mounted here in a minute to get the tire off, get the new one on. We're gonna be using the new Rotary R1250 leverless tire changer. And by leverless, I mean it has a leverless tool head. You don't have the jaws and a pry bar to damage wheels. Potentially, it's much safer for wheels if you're doing the high-end truck rims, you know, JTX forged, Liberty forged, American Forces. A lot of those go face down, called reverse mount, so the tire actually comes off the back of the wheel. This machine comes with a rubber pad you can actually put down, so you can put the nice fancy part of the wheel face down without damaging it. This particular wheel is not a reverse mount. It's not that fancy. It's a decent wheel for your everyday truck. Dual top and bottom bead rollers. So what these are going to do is break the tire bead down so we can get the tool head in to get the tire off. These are automatic if you want it to be. You're going to flip the switch to auto, and what it's going to do is when you're running it down, the sensor is going to tip up on the wheel and automatically pushes that bead roller forward to help get inside the sidewall and really break that bead. The minute I go up with it, it's going to retract back automatically, so it's never going to touch the face of the wheel, resulting in no damage. None of the components on this machine should touch the face of the wheel. Just like the center post turntable here, there's no jaws to risk damaging rims, making little indentations or slipping off is a common thing with some other machines, especially as they get older. Air goes down, the air cylinder reduces clamping power, the jaws actually wear out and need to be replaced. This is a different style machine, it's just safer. What happens is you actually have a pin here that is put into any of the lug nut holes, and then this center shaft drops in, get a little quarter turn, holds it in place. So all the pressure is done on the hub opening where you're not going to damage anything. Most everything is just done hand controlled. It does have a wheel lift on it. Stepped on the wrong pedal there for a second. Started turning it. So I've got my lug nut pin in the lug nut hole here. On this particular wheel, the hub opening is too large for this to mate up with it. So I'm going to use the double-sided adapter here. All it's going to do is help hold that hub down. I'm just going to find the right one. Right side. Push down. It's got a quick lock. Snug it up, so now my rim can't spin because it has the 2 points of contact. So we won't have any spinning issues. Again, it's only touching the center of the rim, so it's never going to touch the face of the wheel. Now we can get all of our bead roller tool head set in place. This has a laser, happens to be exactly on point where it needs to be. What I like to do is get it down, and they move in and out by the switch. They move together along with the bottom roller. So I'm just going to get that LED light right in place where it needs to be. And one crucial thing is when you're taking rims off, no matter what machine you're using, taking the rims off this valve stem needs to be just after the tool head here. Otherwise, you can snap tire sensors. Most vehicles today have tire sensors in them. So you can just, best practice, assume it's got a sensor, whether it does or not. It just gets you in the habit. So in this case, I'm gonna run it just after the bead roller breaker. Run this down. And as you see, that antenna hit a certain point and it just pushed that, drove that bead breaker roller right into the sidewall. Now I can, and before it comes back to the sensor again, I'm gonna go up and back that roller out. That one I can move up out of the way. It is on an auto switch. If you hold it a few seconds, it will go up automatically. Now I can bring the bottom roller up. I just like to put my hand under there just to kind of feel it, make sure that the bead's been broken. That one has been broke. So now again, the valve stem should be just after the tool head. I'm going to back this up and run this down. That kind of noise you heard was the tool head getting down underneath the sidewall. Rotate that back just a little bit more. Now that I have this in place where I want it, I can press and hold our memory feature. That's going to light up. So the tool head's going to know where to return when we go to put the tire back on. Just seeing daylight there. That's how easy it is to take a tire off with this machine. Very safe. So now I can rotate this back. Here's the sensor. I am going to replace this tire sensor. Typically they last about 7 years, the battery. I already did one rim on this truck the other day. So I'm going to do all 4 here, just replace them all, get them programmed so I know they're going to be good for another 7 years at least. Let's get this one off. Don't mind the air compressor running in the background. I just have to cut this one. screws long. You're going to want to check the valve stem hole to make sure there's no corrosion inside of it, because you can get leaky valve stems from salt, sand, corrosion, dust. So now that that one's out, we're going to get our new sensor here. What I'm using is the Siming One Direct sensor. It's dual megahertz, which is great when you forget what kind of megahertz your car is running and you put this in and go to program it, choose the wrong megahertz. You don't have to replace the whole sensor again. I've been in many shops where they put the wrong megahertz sensor in, have to take the wheel back off, take the tire back off, swap sensors, put the tire back on and go to reprogram. If you choose the wrong megahertz, all you have to do is just do a quick reprogram to the other megahertz option. It's a breeze. The other part of these sensors is they're all epoxied. It's not a two-part plastic, so you're not going to get any moisture inside of this sensor over time to cause premature failure. So great sensor. Comes with the rubber valve stem, which is what I'll be running on here, so it blends in and you don't notice it as much. Or you have the option of the metal collar style that you can actually set in place and thread this side on to get a good seal. It's got a rubber gasket on both sides, so you're going to get a good seal with that valve stem as well. So you just simply pull that through. Tools I'm using, these don't come with the machine. This valve stem tool and the tire sensors you can actually get from me. I'm a distributor for them. Just DM me. I can get you set up, get stuff on your way. Now we're ready for the new tire. So now when we talk about the sensor, putting a tire on is different than taking it off. Taking it off, sensor should be just after the tool head. Putting it on, it should be directly opposite of that tool head. The tire is going to kind of sit in under the sidewall of the rim over at this point. So as this valve stem comes around with the sensor, the last point of the tire to get set in place is right next to the sensor. There won't be any sidewall of the tire trying to damage the sensor. if you had this position trying to take the tire off, the second this tire gets pulled over, the sidewall here is going to get driven right into that sensor and snap it, and it's going to be garbage. And that just costs you a new sensor. So you don't want to do that. Sensor placement is definitely a big thing when changing tires. I can hit the memory button. It's going to go back to where it was. Stops right where it needs to. Great when you're doing a whole set of tires. You can set it the one time and just keep lifting it up and putting it right back into place. So tires like this, run flats, low profile, super stiff sidewall. This is a load range F, so it's a pretty tough sidewall. In order to keep the tire from trying to pop back up over the bead. Traditionally on a rim clamp you'd have pry bars holding it down to keep the tire from popping back over. This machine, it's pretty effortless. You can run this bead roller down. Then we have our helper arm. We can also run this down. And what we're doing is getting it down below what we call the drop center, so the narrowest part of the rim. You can see our valve stem is right here now. Get that out of the way. The valve stem is here, and the last bit of the tire to go on right at that valve stem. Sometimes that happens. The nice thing with this machine, we can take our valve core out. Get this tire to seat. This tire is wide enough so we're not going to have a problem with it seating. However, if you did need to seat the bead, this does have bead seater blaster right on it. What I'm going to do is take this groove right here, get it in between the rim and the tire, push in to engage it, and on the pedal down here, it'll blast right off the end port here. Very much like a cheetah blaster that everybody's kind of used to using. There's another one, the bead bazooka, that I prefer. It's much easier to handle, pistol grip style. Really no recoil on it. Just a fantastic bead blaster. I also can get those for you as well. Now I'm just holding the valve core with the valve core tool so I can be ready to swap and not lose all the air out of the tire. This machine does have a gauge up here. When I let go of the pedal, it tells me right now I got 30 PSI. These truck runs 70 to 80. These cap out at 60 PSI. All tire changers in the US are going to be capped about 60 to 62 PSI. It's just an OSHA regulation. I'm going to have to top this off with shop air to get the 80 PSI that I want in here. I lost my cap. One last step before I go to the balancer with this is when we heard that loud pop from the tire seating over here, a lot of times air can get trapped between the sidewall and the rim itself. The other fantastic thing with these machines is you can do what's called deep massaging, kind of help get that air out of there, and that's going to result in a better balance. So I'm going to bring this back down. I'm going to flip this to manual mode so this sensor is shut off essentially. So when I did that, a little bit of air actually came out of there already. And I can hear it still. I'm going to bring this in. I don't want to re-break the bead. I'm just trying to get a little separation here so we can get the air out. I'm going to do the same at the bottom. I was just feeling where it was at so it didn't go too far and break the bead again. To shut the memory feature off, all you gotta do is press and hold the button, and it's off. That's how you change the tire on the Rotary R1250. You can go to their website, rotarysolutions.com, check it out, check out the other models. There are a lot of other models out there that they offer that are just as good, depending on what you're doing. So